What's up, y'all? We're continuing reading through Proverbs. This is Proverbs 3 of the New Living Translation. So, same thing we've been reading the whole time. Kind of the subtitle of chapter 3 is Trusting in the Lord. My child, never forget the things I have taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years, and your life will be satisfying. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you will do, and He will show you which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Then you will have healing for your body and strength for your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. Then He will fill your barns with grain and your vats will overflow with good wine. My child, don't reject the Lord's discipline, and don't be upset when He corrects you. For the Lord corrects those He loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom He delights. Joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. She offers you long life in her right hand, and riches and honor in her left. She will guide you down delightful paths, and all her ways are satisfying. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Happy are those who hold her tightly. By wisdom the Lord founded the earth. By understanding He created the heavens. By His knowledge the deep fountains of the earth burst forth, and the dew settles beneath the night sky. My child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Hang on to them, for they will refresh your soul. They are like jewels on a necklace. They keep you safe on your way, and your feet will not stumble. You can go to bed without fear, and you will lie down and sleep soundly. You need not be afraid of sudden disaster or the destruction that comes upon the wicked, for the Lord is your security. He will keep your foot from being caught in a trap. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it when it's in your power to help them. If you can help your neighbor now, don't say, "Come back tomorrow and then I'll help you." Don't plot harm against your neighbor, for those who live nearby trust you. Don't pick a fight within reason when no one has done you harm. Don't envy violent people or copy their ways. Such wicked people are detestable to the Lord, but He offers His friendship to the godly. The Lord curses the house of the wicked, but He blesses the home of the upright. The Lord mocks the mockers, but is gracious to the humble. The wise inherit honor, but fools are put to shame. There's a pretty popular verse in here, I think. Let's echo throughout the Bible a couple times. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you will do, and He will show you which path to take." There's going to be times where you come across a decision and it's a fork in the road, and there's going to be ways that on the surface might make sense in a worldly perspective, but big man's up above is telling you to take one way, take that way. 'Cause there's a lot of times where things don't pan out at the moment. And it kind of seems like everything falls apart. But in the long run, looking back on it, it's about the best thing that ever happened to you, even though in the moment you don't understand. I know personally I've had that happen to me, where I bet my entire family's future on something that was pretty dang sure, and it fell apart at the absolute last minute. And I was in a panic and kind of crying out to God, "How could you do this to me? I got to make this right. What can I do?" and just absolutely scrambling to get my poop in a group. And a lot of prayers were answered in a lot of different ways, in a way that was absolutely undeniable. And looking back on it now, and in the years following, that's the best thing that could have happened for me and my family. But at the time, boy howdy, it was uncomfortable. Wasn't a fan of it. But whenever you lean on him, there's going to be some paths that he'll show you to take that at the time ain't going to make any sense. But looking back on it, you'll see why it was the wise thing to do. Let's see. There's another thing here. Oh yeah, where it says, "My child, don't reject the Lord's discipline, and don't be upset when he corrects you. For the Lord corrects those he loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom he delights." Thankfully, I was blessed enough to have a pretty awesome dad. Still a pretty awesome dad. And extremely blessed and thankful for that. And I know that some folks haven't had that blessing, and that is extremely unfortunate. But it doesn't have to be the end of everything, right? But and some folks listening to this might not have kids or anything like that, so it'll be hard for you to understand. But for anyone who's a parent, I've heard that parenting is the best crash course in theology you can get, because you have this little tiny human that you love with absolutely every fiber of your being, more than life itself. And whenever you try to do what's best for them, they don't fully understand. They will pitch an absolute fit about it, right? Why can't I jump off the couch? Why can't I climb on this chair? Why can't I touch the stove whenever you're cooking, right? Why can't I play with kitchen knives? All kinds of stuff, right? And all you're doing is protecting them, and you are teaching them and things like that. But at the moment, man, they will absolutely blow a gasket. There's a lot of times where I think like that's kind of how the Lord thinks of us, where we go around and we think that we're doing the coolest thing and we're learning something new, or, "Hey, Dad, watch this, ain't this cool?" And he's just kind of, like, hand over his face, like, "My guy, we've been over this. Like, you can't do that. That's the wrong thing to do. Like, this, you will hurt yourself or kill yourself or hurt somebody else doing this. You need to stop that," right? And there does get a point where you can tell your kid no, you can smack them on the hand, you can whoop them, set them in timeout, do all kinds of discipline, right? And if they still don't listen, about the only thing left to do is be there when the consequences of their actions catch up to them. And that's how they got to learn a lesson, right? I think sometimes that's kind of how God works, because he's a heavenly father and we're his kids. And so there's even a proverb for that later, where it says that people will do wicked stuff and do things in their own ways, and then turn around and blame God whenever things don't pan out. It's like, my guy, he's been trying to talk to you in the first place, right? He's been trying to help you out. He's been trying to love you and trying to do all these things for you, and you just keep on rejecting it. But the second something bad happens, you want to turn around and throw it in his face. No, man, that ain't how that works. You might not say that that's fair, but it's a good thing he's not a God who's fair, right? Because if we got what we deserved, there wouldn't be hope for any of us. There's also a lot of if you do this, then this will happen in the Bible, right? Talked about it a little bit last time, but a lot of those road to Damascus moments where just heavens open up, angels sing, trumpets blow, and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And big fanfare, and you all of a sudden understand everything right from the get-go. And those things do happen, but I think they're a little bit more far few between than you having to put in the effort first, right? And then God's like, okay, now that you're showing me that you're ready to listen, now we can start talking, right? If you got a kid who, say they want to learn how to drive a car, right? But they won't pick up their room, won't do dishes, won't take out the trash, always talk back, never finish their homework, don't bring home good grades, nothing like that, right? Now on 16, they expect a set of keys. Negative, ghostwriter. You haven't done any of the work beforehand. Even the most basic stuff for me to trust you with a machine that'll go 70 miles, 80 miles an hour down the road, right? You haven't shown any kind of personal responsibility or wanting to take ownership or anything like that, right? And I think sometimes in our Christian walk, you gotta, some people are like, hey, I've read the book and I said these words, so why isn't everything magically fixed? Or they pray one time half-heartedly without really believing it, knowing the answer that they already want to hear, and they want to turn around, try to use that as proof that God isn't almighty or all-powerful or doesn't love us or anything like that, right? If the Lord loved me, God, I'm going to wake up and there's going to be a Lamborghini in the driveway. That's about stupid, right? That doesn't glorify Him at all. All it does is give you something you don't need. And you're going to be too obsessed with that to actually turn around and say thank you to God or use it for His glory or anything like that. And like I said last time, it's not effort that you put in to try to necessarily get His attention or anything like that, or prove to Him that you're worthy of His time or anything. Because it definitely ain't that, right? You don't get into heaven through your works at all. But again, going back to being a covenant relationship, marriage being the best example of that. You do the dishes and you do the chores and you do certain things for your wife because you love her, not to make her fall in love with you. It's the same thing with the relationship with God. And like marriages, everybody's personal relationship with Jesus ought to look a little bit different. No matter how much you try to emulate your parents, her parents, whoever, right? Grandmas, grandpas, couples you see on TV, best friends, whatever, their relationship ain't your relationship, right? And so everybody's walk with Christ is going to look a little different, and it should. But there are still some basic principles that are pretty hard to get away from. Yeah. Anyways, that's Proverbs 3. Take it easy and God bless.